Hello, everyone, and welcome to another book review. And well, it makes sense that the next book review is Unital Ring 2. I finished Unital Ring 2 2 days ago, and I decided, well, like I did a review of Unital Ring 1. I'll do a review of Unital Ring 2. So I want to start this by saying I have already pre-ordered Unital Ring 3. It is coming. So thankfully I don't have to wait long because it should be coming next week, Unital Ring 3. So I don't have to wait long until I can continue the Unital Ring journey. So there is that. But now let's get into Unital Ring 2. So how was it compared to the first one? I believe they're both on the same level. And that level is, it's a good book, right? But it's nothing that blows your mind. Unital Ring 1 had the whole, what it had going for it was the mysterious aspect of it, of like, I don't know what any of this is, I don't know what Unital Ring is, and trying to find out what's going on. It had like a very mysterious element to it. And very much like, because we're starting from the beginning again. Unital Ring 2 is a clear continuation, obviously, of them in Unital Ring 1 trying to figure out what's going on. The big thing in this book is we now focus more on Sinon. Sinon got a lot of time to shine. She got like, I think I believe it's about 3 chapters are just Sinon on her own, which is great. We find out that, Sinon, she was playing GGO when the unification happened, so she got her GGO account converted, and she can't use her Hecate 2 because it's too high level for her. So we get to see Sinon, what she was doing when the unification happened. And then after that, it comes down to her trying to reunite with everyone again. That's Sinon's part most of this book, is she's trying to reunite with everyone, which is cool. It's nice to we get to see Sinon get some time to shine, and she gets her own little story, discovers her own thing about Unital Ring, which will obviously come into play later on. We get, when it comes to Argo, I do want to talk about Argo. She doesn't actually do a lot in this book, but she does when she's in it. She's it means something. And we find out near the end of the book that she might be willing to jump in now. So that'll probably be something I have to look forward to in Unital Ring 3. Everyone's got armor now, which is great. We desperately needed armor. Armor was something that was desperately needed in Unital Ring 1, and we've all got the armor now, so we've got a bit of a feeling of safeness. That's what this book has. Unital Ring 1 had the feeling of we're all unsafe. That anything could get us, any small thing could end this right now. Unital Ring 2 has a bit more of a safer feeling because they all have armor on, and they all kind of know what we're doing now. We kind of get the basic gist of MP, SP, TP. We get the basic gist of it all now. So now it's just a matter of leveling this stuff up to make it so that way we don't get killed by anything. We get more I don't know if I should say this. This might be a bit of a spoiler. I don't want to spoil too much right now, just for the first 5-10 minutes. Maybe if this goes longer, I'll spoil a bit, because that's just how I am. I just spoil stuff. I do this with thinking that people who are going to listen to this have read the book. If you haven't and you're just you want to know stuff because this is the next arc for Sword Art, then that's cool too. But I try not to spoil right off the bat, maybe later on. Let's see. I'm looking at my notes. We have a Oh, I should say Yui actually gets some real time to shine in this one. They mention very much how Yui has just been on the sidelines this whole time, right? She's just there. You're like, I don't know what this means. Yui, what does this mean? And then she looks it up because she's in a computer. You know, Yui, I don't know how to do this. How do I do this? Right? Like they mention in the book that Yui is like their get out of jail free card, and that she's just been on the sidelines all this time. And Yui blatantly tells Kirito in this book, I don't want to be protected my whole life. I want to do stuff. I want to be like you and Mom. And Kirito's like, well, what can I say? You know? So there is a really good moment with Yui where she gets time to shine on her own and actually, you know, contribute to the fight in like a more physical way, which that's really nice to see. We got a cool drawing of it too. Just like in the first book, got a big fight with a big super leveled up boss, because we always have to have one of those. It was the bear in the first one. This time it's a frog called the Goliath Rana, which is a frog. We had a bear that shoots electric like spikes at you. Now we have a frog that shoots flames at you, that's awesome. We also get knowledge on magic now as well, that they have these things called like magic crystals, and that you have to bite into it, and biting into it will give you that skill. So like Kirito gets one after they beat the Goliath Rana. I'm getting spoilers now. Kirito gets one after beating the Goliath Rana, and he gets like this crystal. But he doesn't really care about magic, so he gives it to Yui, and Yui kind of bites down on it, and now Yui can like use like fire arrows. Like she can like just shoot fire arrows by like imitating a bow. When it comes to, let's see. We find out some stuff about the log cabin as well. During the battle in Unital Ring 1, with the PKers, Kirito was able to use sword skills that he shouldn't have, and he was, you know, kind of wondering, well, what's the reason? And Yui speculates maybe it's the area we're in, and Kirito then decides to check the log cabin, and the log cabin actually has like some buffs on it, and the buffs is it may give you like the being near the log cabin, like you may be able to access moves you couldn't before. So that's their explanation for why Kirito is able to use the sword skills he couldn't. And it's not like okay, well, because I'm near the log cabin, I can do this skill that's super high leveled up. It's like it took him 8 tries to attempt a skill he didn't have, and then it worked. So it's like, if you keep trying long enough, if you're stubborn enough, you'll be able to use the buff from the log cabin. Speaking of the log cabin, build a wall around that sucker, so that way it's not so open to attack. Which we see did help when they got another PKer attack near the end of the book. It helped Asuda, Alice, and Silica defend the log cabin a lot more, which is good. And speaking of the log cabin and defending it, oh, and the PKers, by the way, it now seems like a little plot now is who is telling the PKers what to do, because the PKers this time were like they had like a plan, like a formation of what to do. And when Kirito killed the leader, the leader knew who he was. So Kirito now believes that there has to be someone coordinating these PK attacks, and he's like, who is it? So that's probably a mystery for Unital Ring 3 as well, of who is coordinating the PK attacks, who knows that this is Kirito, you know, this is Kirito's base, who knows? Before I get back to the log cabin, we also meet up with some old friends in Klein and Egil. They are now in Unital Ring. We see them during the Goliath Rana fight. At the very end of the Goliath Rana fight, they show up because, you know, it's always at the very end, isn't it? Could have used you sooner, but, you know, always at the end. So it's great to see them back, because they were not in Unital Ring 1 at all. They got a mention, and then now they're here, which is great. But back to the log cabin, we end Unital Ring 2 with the idea from Kirito that they should build a village. So that way, it doesn't come across that like, oh, this is just a one log cabin. Obviously, this is like a place for players. You know, let's go attack it. If they make it more of a village, they're hoping that, well, Kirito's hoping that people won't be as open to attacking. And thanks to some people they meet called, I think, the Patter, like rat men, that Sinon met, who helped them in the Goliath Rana fight. They make a place for them, they make a place for their pets, they make place for weapons and stuff like that. So by the end of Unital Ring 2, they have like a small village established, which we'll probably expand upon in other books. I can only assume we'll expand upon in other books. And speaking of pets, we have more pets. We end Unital Ring 1. Asuna got, I think it's called Aga, like a duck platypus thingy. Well, Kirito now has a pet. It's a panther, which he called, what did he call it? Kuro, I think. Kuro. Kuro, yes. That's what he named the panther, Kuro. And then Silica, because, you know, beast tamer and all that, she tamed a bear. That's right, she tamed a bear. That, I mean, dang, bro. Taming a bear? That's pretty hardcore. And then we get to, at the end of this book, we end with some real world stuff, as we always do. And it is Kirito and Argo meeting up with Kikuoka. For what for? No idea. They don't tell us. We'll probably find out in the next book, obviously. But we end on a bit of a, not so much a cliffhanger, but so much as kind of like a whoa, you know, exclamation point of the fact that Argo knows that Kikuoka's ALO name was Chrisite. I think that's how you pronounce it. That's Kikuoka's little avatar that he used to dive into ALO, and she knows that Chrisite is Kikuoka. So, how does she know? We'll find out in the next one. And that's all I really want to say about Unital Ring, story-wise. Overall, because I don't want to give too much away. I do want you to also, you know, buy the book and read it. Like I said, it's on the same level of Unital Ring 1 for me, as it was an enjoyable read. I was never bored throughout it. It's more expanding upon stuff we know that we found out in Unital Ring 1. This is more just like, you know, expanding on stuff. They now have pictures. It's really cool at the end of this book, because they talk about like the skill tree for Unital Ring in this one, that at the end of the book they have a picture of the skill tree for you, so you can look at it. That's nice. That's helpful. But yeah, that's all I really gotta say about Unital Ring 2. It was a really fun book. What did I give Unital Ring 1? Did I give it an 8, 8.5? Whatever I gave Unital Ring 1 is what I gave Unital Ring 2. Exactly the same. They're exactly the same. I am very much excited for Unital Ring 3, just from looking at the cover. The cover alone makes me think, oh, we got some big stuff going down. I got a feeling in Unital Ring 3 we're going back to the underworld. Just a hunch, but that's just from looking at the cover. And they mention the underworld a lot in Unital Ring 1 and 2. That's mainly just because the Kirito's like, oh, this reminds me of the underworld. Or something about Alice, and then they'll make a mention of the underworld, you know. But yeah, that's it for my review of Unital Ring 2. Solid book. I gave it an 8 or an 8.5. Whatever I gave Unital Ring 1. I don't remember. But that's it. Definitely go out and seek Unital Ring 2. Very good book. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. So I will see you guys for the review of Unital Ring 3 when I get it and read it.